the trusted voice of racing, pacing and chasing. You're listening to Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
You're listening to Great Greys on Tab Radio.
Good morning and welcome along to Great Greys on this Thursday, the 8th of August 2024. Great to have your company. Hope you're travelling particularly well. We've got a really busy program ahead today. Of course, we've got the National Sprint and Distance Championship state divisions going on all around this great nation tonight. Looking forward to all of the coverage, of course, on Sky Racing as well as right here on TAB Radio. And, of course, Tab Touch account customers, 5 additional super picks up your sleeve to use to advantage throughout the course of those races. One man that's come back with a lovely tan. He's been getting around with the old thongs and shorts on and the tank top up there in Darwin. The Shane Train Williams returns to Perth, and it's great to have him on Great Greys on this Thursday morning. Welcome to you, Shane. How was Darwin?
Good morning, Shortte. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, it was really good trip, mate. A lot of laughs had, and yeah, you certainly felt like you were back to the Wild West when I got off that plane last night, Shorty, and walked out. No jumper, just the shorts and shirt. Very chilly conditions when we got home last night. Absolutely, it was. Yeah, it's been pretty chilly and plenty of rain around here in WA in the metro area. Certainly in recent times, it was a big few days up there, no doubt, in Darwin, and of course from a greyhound perspective up there, a great day of racing taken out by the former West Aussie Omar Manelli, defeating Dundee Lexi and Flip Your 50. What was the crowd like up there at Darwin for the Cup? Yeah, it was a really good crowd, Shorty. The dogs always get supported. It's just a very good carnival that they have the dogs right in the middle of the two horse days, and I think a lot of people get out there and support the carnival. It was a good night. It was incident-free, and yeah, congratulations to Steele Bolton. I'm pretty sure a local syndicate of footy players or cricket players owned that dog, Shorty, so it was a real big roar when it won, and I think they would have partied on deep into the night, Shorty. And the well-backed Hadouken ended up taking out the Darwin Cup from a Gallop's perspective. Tyler Schiller on board for Pete Roble. Drew out wide on the track, but was right up there. This was a very, very gutsy performance, and the punters did not forget to back it. No, it was a very tough win, Shorty. It sat parked outside the leader for the entire, and them two horses just had a ding-dong battle the whole way up the straight, and Tyler Schiller lifted it over the line, Shorty. Very good to see. Peter Roble trained horse, and he had the dirt form from the Gold Coast, so he took that to Darwin and got the job done. Excellent. All sounds like it was a good time had by all, but you're now back here in Perth and getting ready for a busy afternoon as you're heading up to Northam. We've got an excellent afternoon/evening of chasing. Early start there today, punters. Don't get caught out if you generally like a bet on the Thursday dogs at Northam and you're used to that standard kick-off time of around 5 o'clock. This afternoon, first race is 2:56, so don't let that under your guard. If you like something early on in the program, early kick-off today of 2:56, the first race there at Northam. And our two feature races are the last two races on the program, and they tie in with all of that national coverage of the national championships Australia-wide. Really looking forward to seeing your star of the kennel, Iconic Jet, going around in race number 9 on the program train. This dog has really been an absolute jet. It's lived up to its name to this point of its career. 4 for 4 there at Northam. It's taken to the circuit beautifully. 6 for 6 overall. Last time there, 29 and 14, and broke a track record sectional in the process. You must be really looking forward to seeing the pin-up boy, the kennel, going around again today there in race 9. Yeah, very, very much looking forward to it, Shorty. He's probably what gets me out of bed of a morning. He's a very promising dog, and obviously we bred him, myself and Jay, so that's an even special feeling. He's got to get tougher and tougher every win he has now. His easier ones have sort of been picked off now with them country wins, and yeah, like I said, it's going to get tougher and tougher from here, but hopefully he can get the start right tonight and roll forward. He does his best work when he's out in front, and yeah, can get the job done again. I really do want to take him to Adelaide for the Derby in about 5 weeks, so yeah, we've got to plot out a plan to sort of head there, and I think that might be the making of him, because he is a bit of a headstrong short. He's highly strung, and he wants to get things done at 100 miles an hour as a bull at the gate. So I just think a trip away also might calm him down, and make him into a better dog.
Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to getting around him when he heads over to SA. But first things first, race 9, number 4 today, their Iconic Jet. Peter O'Neill's in the studio with us, Train. He'll be calling all of the action there this afternoon. I thought we'd get Pete in to just share his thoughts on the 2 feature races this afternoon. The WA Distance Championship final. It comes up 6:05 WA time tonight over the 721, and then the sprint final there 6:26 WA time over the 509 metres. Welcome to you, Pete.
Shorty, good morning to you, and also Shane. Train. What a night of greyhound racing it is for the enthusiasts around the country tonight, but especially here in WA with the WA Sprint and Distance Championship. They're 2 outstanding races. The distance is a real interesting one, Shorty, because of the fact there's a couple of greyhounds there that are having their debut at the track. Now, I'm not sure whether they've trialled there. I'm talking about the Chris Hulse trained chasers. It's always a worry for me, greyhounds going up to Northern for the first time.
It can be challenging, and it's particularly on the corners where they can lose their compass a little bit. And Flying Frida has got the ability to show good early pace. So if she really steps but then maybe doesn't handle that corner, there's potential for it to be a little bit messy early doors. But she's been an excellent bitch in her career today. It'll be very interesting to see how she handles the circuit for the first time on race day conditions. Let's kick off with the distance, boys. I'll go through the Tab Touch fixed odds market. West on Booney at $2.60, Flying Frida at $3.10, Sage to Neil's a $6 chance, Miss Ronnie Mac at $8.50, Sky Manelli $10, 90 Mile Rose at $11, Penny Magic at $11. The 2 reserves are out. Chloe Ant is the $17 outsider of the field. Market move wise, Booney's been 3 into that $2.60 quote, Frida $3.50 into that $3.10 quote. Money for Miss Ronnie Mac 13 into $8.50 has been spec'd at good odds. 90 Mile Rose 13 into 11. And all other runners there have gone the other way. So interesting market, interesting race. Train out. What's your take on the distance final tonight?
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit of a lottery, Shorty. We touched on Flying Frida earlier, not seeing the track. My mail is they both had a trial there, so that's I can't confirm that, but that's the mail around the traps, is they both had one trial there. Flying Frida went to Brisbane and won without a look, boys, in the heat of the Brisbane Cup over 700. So I don't think it'll worry her, the limited experience up there. Like you said, Shorty, she does roll forward, and she should be on the arm, I think. But I think she's very short odds to $3. I think it's very short odds to take on. A lot of value in the race. Sky Manelli, I think 8 weeks ago I had her as the number 1 seed for this. I think trainer Paul Kels has had a bit of difficulties getting some free-fall 700-metre races into her. You'll see in her form when she's dropped back to the 500-metre races. She's really attacked the line in them. She's very well drawn down near the rail. She won't leave the rail. She won't go around dogs, so she's going to need a bit of clean air along the rail. 90 Mile Rose has been really good since she's been up there. Funny enough, she's met Penny Magic twice and beat her twice, and last start she drew 6 and Penny Magic drew 4, and she was able to cross her. So I don't know if Penny Magic's going to be able to cross 90 Mile Rose there. They've both got good northern track experience. Chloe Ann has been placed behind them dogs. Looks a rough hope. Miss Ronnie Mac's the interesting one, boys. Corey's done a really good job with her because she was off the scene for 3 months after the Galaxy. He gave her a 300 and a 500, and she's had 2 700s, and they've both been, when she's led all the way, she's had a 2-week freshen up for this, so that could be a bit of a key for her to try and roll forward and find the lead. I thought Sage to Neil needed to draw near the inside, boys. She's really suspect at the 700-metre trip, and I think there's a lot of speed in this race. I think she might struggle to sort of get over and get a look at the arm from out there. And I thought West on Booney, boys, I just didn't think Northern was going to be his track. We do know he likes to race wide. He's the favourite, but and he is drawn where he wants to be. But I just don't know if he'll get around them turns. Like, you see him at Kennington sometimes. He did race right up the back in the middle of the track. So Northern's a lot tighter circuit than Kennington. Listen, I was going to play 2 and 3 at the odds, both around the $10 mark, just the fact that 90 Mile Rose is a chance of getting to the front. She has that northern experience, and Sky Manelli, like I said, recent form's not outstanding, but I just think going back to box 2, she's going to flop straight on the fence. And she has actually the PB best time out of all the dogs here, 42.53, her PB at Northern, which is quite superior to any of the others, but I wouldn't be a knock on anyone that wanted to back anything in this race. Just hopefully they all get the best of luck and the best dog wins. What did you think, Pete?
I think the class wins here, Shane, and Flying Frida and West on Booney are the two class runners. I'm not as concerned about the fact that, and I'm trying to confirm that they've seen the track, but I'm not as concerned over the staying distance, Shorty, because of the fact that the field's going to spread out a little bit more. They're not going to be charging into that first corner as quick, in my opinion. So I think they'll get around okay. So I'm going West on Booney. Really good form this greyhound has been in. Comes back from Queensland, where he was up against the best in Australia there. Comes back to Northern. Our strength in our staying ranks is not as strong at the moment. So 8 West on Booney. Flying Frida, I think she's well drawn. She's been freshened up. She went across to Queensland as well. A greyhound that can certainly jump on the arm. I think the other two is Sage Tennille. Can she do what Dashing Corsair did and win the National Sprint and Distance Championship? She needs to qualify for WA first of all. And the other one, Penny Magic. But I think it's between the brother and sister Flying Frida, West on Booney, and I'll be tipping Shorty West on Booney on top.
All right, West on Booney for Pete, with respect for Flying Frida. Look, I'm very confused, to be quite frank, about this race and how it might pan out. If this was at Cannington or Mandurah, I'd be very clear cut with 1 and 8. But given the fact they're having their first start at Northam, Pete raised a good point over the 7:21. There's more time for them to sort it all out, but there's more bends to get around as well, and that can be where dogs find it challenging first look at the Northam circuit. So for me, I've got a betting strategy which I'll share with you. I think Sky Manelli will hit the frame. I think that's locked in, regardless of what happens early and dogs running off. Sky Manelli's really strong in the back half of this race, and if there's jamming and things not going right at double figure odds, I think Sky Manelli will definitely hit the frame, and I'll just use it as a roving banker for trifectas and first fours. And I think almost anything could win it. Just the complete unknown of these two really classy and talented dogs, but they're very trim in the market, and if they don't handle it and other dogs at bigger odds find their way into the frame, this is a trifecta and first four that could pay really handsomely. I've just broken it down to thinking that whatever happens, Sky Manelli's going to be hitting that frame, and if the faves aren't there in the first box, then we're probably going to be getting a nice divvy. That's how I'll be playing the feature final. And we move on to race number 12, having a look at the Tab Touch fixed odds market here. This very talented youngster, Transcendent, a winner 9 of 10 to this point. What an incredible record that is putting together. Very, very talented son of Aston DB and Miss America, and thought the effort last week behind Firelighter was stunning, to camp on that dog and then just give it the run by late. 225 out to 230 at the head of the market. Firelighter 460 into 360, seeing good support. Uncle Tommy heads into the National Sprint final regardless. From a purely selfish WA perspective, you really, if it runs second or worse, it's great, because we'll have 2 representatives in the sprint, which would be an excellent outcome for WA greyhound racing. Thought his run first look at the track last week was exceptional. He's a real big race dog. He's going to be hard to beat. 6 into 260. Miss Envy 6 and firm. Barbecue Man's been going super at the Northern circuit. 6 out to 750. Hinto's a huge price for a greyhound of its ability. 13 as big as 26, now 20. It'll be benefiting greatly for that look at the track last week. Daddy's Girl 17 to 21, and Trevor's Gift is 51 out to 61, back into 51. Guys, this race is worthy of being a high level group race anywhere, anytime. We've drawn together some stunning performers for tonight's WA Sprint Championship final, Pete.
I'm looking forward to, and whoever wins, I'm looking forward to them representing WA, because I think they can take it up against the East Coasters. Transcendent has to be favourite, and is, because of the fact that the win last week in the heat was sensational. Was able to run down Firelighter, which is no mean feat. Draws box number 1, which is ideal. So I'm going Transcendent because of the box draw. I think Uncle Tommy's right into this race. It was a big run last week. Strips fitter for the effort. Barbecue Man's flying, undefeated at the track and distance. My only concern is out wide, but he's a really class chaser, and I agree with you, Shorty. Hinto, if you saw $23 on offer about Hinto now into 19 with Tab Touch, you just jump at it every day of the week, because he could be camped on them if there's any trouble. He's really strong late. It's a really good race. I'm leaving out Firelighter, Daddy's Girl, Miss Envy, and Trevor's Gift. I'm excited to see who wins and who represents WA, and I'm a bit like you, Shorty. I think Uncle Tommy can certainly win the race, but I'm hoping in a little way that we get 2 runners through to the final of the Nationals in Adelaide.
Absolutely. Train, how do you see it?
Did you say Uncle Tommy was $6 into 260?
460.
Oh, 460, sorry. Yeah, I thought his run was really good last week. Look, Transcendent, I actually give no hope last week, so I put my hand up. I got that wrong. Drew 7 and got straight over. I thought it might have found traffic problems. You think it's going to be awfully hard to beat in the 1 box. we all know that box one in a big final is a big advantage. I thought Uncle Tommy's run was really good last week. I agree with you, Shorty. I think possibly if you changed the boxes last week, it holds Barbecue Me Out and possibly win. So, look, second look at the track, it's probably going to strip a lot fitter and does look like it might be able to get to the front. So, I could see why there's been a bit of support for it. Firelighter, I thought, was the other speed in the race. I've ruled out 6, 7, 8. I just think they won't be able to get over. So, I've got to narrow down between the top 5. But, yeah, Transcendent's definitely the dog to beat. He is drifting a little bit. He might drift a little bit more, but he does look the dog to beat. Box one in finals, as we know, boys, is a big advantage. And like you said, yeah, I'm the same. I think any one of these dogs would be competitive in Adelaide. So hopefully we get 2 in, and Pete's obviously heading over there so he can represent us in great pride, Shorty.
Yeah, big style. I can't wait for tonight. This is a great sprint race. I can't go past the red, though, Transcendent. The dog last week from a wide draw, it was clever, and it got to the inside, and it did not want to leave it. And that's the trait of a very smart young dog. You save all the ground up along the inside, and when you draw there to start with, all you need to do is hold up, and for something to beat it, they're going to have to go around it. That won't be easy. Transcendent's the dog to beat. From number 2, Uncle Tommy, he's a big race performer. He never runs poorly, and there'll be improvement from that run last week, as it will be for Hino. This is just a disrespectful price now. This dog's won 25 races, 34 placings from 83. If any time this dog gets to $20 and $3.70, it's insane to not have a peanut each way, because he's proven himself against our best dogs week in, week out. I'll be having something small on Hinto at those really big odds. And number 5, Firelighter, the dog's going really good, but Transcendent beat it fair and square last week, drawn outside of it. This time it draws inside. That means Firelighter's likely having to do a fair bit of work, and that's not ideal for a dog that just gets a bit weary that last 20 metres. So 1, 2, 4 and 5 for me in the big one tonight. Pete, good calling. Was there anything else on the card that you wanted to make note of?
I tipped last week Shimmer Dream and just held on. I think Shimmer Dream, you'll get a price tonight for the Guru. Gary Wilson, second leg of the quaddie, will go close again with a small field. So race 6, number 7, Shimmer Dream. And don't forget, Shorty, not only with WA chasing starting early at 2:56 and with the WA Sprint and Distance Championship, you've got those extra super picks to use with Tab Touch on all of the state sprint finals around the country. So it'll be run in an hour, and you'll be able to see all of the action and hear it all here on TAB Radio, Racing and Sport.
Beautifully done. Thank you, Pete. Look forward to hearing Pete calling all of the action. 12 races there. The first gets underway. 2:56. He won't be far from heading up the hill and preparing for a big 12-race program. Train, back to you. Best bets for tonight there at Northam.
Yeah, 3 best bets tonight, Shorty at Northam. I'm going to kick it off race 2, number 3, Surely. Well, surely he wins tonight, Shorty.
Surely you can't be with this.
Surely he can't run second again. 7 silver medals in a row. Some of them runs he's been a little bit lucky, I'll be honest, but he won't get a better opportunity to break through tonight, Shorty. He's been a little bit, like I said, a little bit stiff in some of them, but I think he gets a good draw tonight, box 3. He has got good speed. He should roll straight to the front, and if he doesn't win tonight, Shorty, he's going to have to go on the barred list. So race 2, number 3, Surely to kick us off.
Okay, second way to play it tonight.
I'm going to go to race 4, number 2, Starlight Lily. This is a maiden first starter out of the strong Paul Stewart kennel. If this one in the stablemate, number 6, went around in a quali last week, they were the only 2 in it. Starlight Lily led for a long way and was collared right on the post by the stablemate, but I think back to a full field conditions here, Shorty. The 2 can get out and pinch a break, where the 6 wasn't brilliant in its quali, and I think it could be out the back finding a bit of bobble while the 2's often gone in front. I haven't seen any prices yet, but I just thought that 6 would be favourite and 2 would be probably second favourite, and we could get a bit of value there with the 6 fine in the front. So Starlight Lily on top in race 4 for my second tip.
All right, and the third play?
Race 7, number 2, Obsessed Much. This will be the best bet of the night, Shorty, for me. Just absolutely loves racing here at the Peel Circuit. Michael and Tracy Hine, trained dog. They've done a really good job with this little dog. He's never been out of a place, Shorty, over the 300-metre trip at Northam. Like I said, got that really good early burn, can spear to the front, and then say, catch me if you can. So race 7, number 2, Obsessed Much, on top of race 4, number 2, Obsessed Lily, and race 2, number 3, Surely. All
right, and Iconic Jet, Trim, but the best of the kennel runners?
Yeah, by far. I'm going to have limited runners over the weekend. I'm actually going to go up Saturday and trial a few more. So, yeah, I won't be having a lot of runners this weekend. But, yeah, he's clearly the best of mine for the weekend, Shorty.
All right, that's later this afternoon, 9-4 Iconic Jet. Good on you, Train. Appreciate your time as always here on Great Greys. Good luck this afternoon up there at Northern.
All the best, mate. See ya.
There we have it, the Shane Train. We was back from Darwin with that tan and are ready to find some winners. Let's catch up with Jace Campbell. He's going to have a look at Albion Park and Launceston chasing for us here on the program today. Welcome to you, JC.
How are you, Shorty?
Going really well, thanks, mate. Exciting night of chasing ahead with all of these national sprint and distance finals state by state this evening.
Yeah, plethora of greyhound racing across the nation. Can't wait to sit back on the couch and pop open a Coke Zero and watch all these races.
Excellent. Well, let's hope that caffeine goes to good use and gets you up and about to find some winners. Albion Park tonight just won and we wait till late.
Yeah, well, it's going to have to get me through the night to about 10:30 my time. Race 12-01, Obliging Warren. Just didn't really like the program from a betting perspective, Shorty. So with these ones, you just sort of got to wait till you find the right one. And I think I have in the last race. He dropped back to Masters Company last week and he drew the box 4 against Cobblepot. He runs second in 30 and 55. I think Cobblepot not being in this race is extremely important to his chances. I think he can find a solo lead here and he should prove extremely hard to run down.
All right, so race 12, number 1, Obliging Warren to send us home a winner there at Albion Park. What about down there in the Apple Isle at Launceston this evening?
Yeah, I like this mean a bit more, Shorty. Obviously, the sprint and distance races are dominated by dogs drawn low there. But I've got to kick off in race 1. Playing the 4 here, Tide Will Turn. He's quite a large price. He's around that $20 mark. I think he's a really good roughie. Most people should just have a little spec on. He was really good on Tuesday, winning from off the speed over this track and trip. He runs 16.65 on that occasion. And for reference, Let's Go Nan, she's still a favourite. She runs 16.39 on the same day. With a lot less carnage in her race. And she's won the 4 from 10. So I just can't get them $2 versus $20. I think he should be a lot higher up with Let's Go Man.
All right, so one at 21 and 5.50 there. A bit of value about Tide Will Turn in the first. On to the second of your plays at Lonnie.
Playing the stripes here, Surveillance. He has had 5 starts to 3 wins at Hobart. He's shown really good speed in all those wins. I think he'll be really well suited to Launceston. Box 1, Darling Danger, doesn't have a great deal of speed, and number 3, Unlikely Danger, I don't think can match him early. So once again, I think he'll find the front here, and from there it should be extremely hard to run down. The favourite, Rupee Rebel, was a really big run last start, but he might struggle to get across from box 6 there. He's not a really good beginner, and he does run very wide on the turn. So race to number 2, Surveillance.
Putting together a nice record. Surveillance is son of Leroy Rogue. 3 wins from 5 starts, and happy enough to be on at the $4 tonight there, our man Jason Campbell. And then we head to race 9.
Playing the 3 here, April Cruiser. I'm very happy to pen her last start effort against Katerina. She started $4 on that occasion in top grade company. From box 1, she just had very little luck. She just wasn't able to match motors with the top grade dog. She dropped back to Masters Company here. And last time she did do that, she won over this track and trip by 2.5 lengths in a really quick 6. Well, I don't think there's a lot of speed in this race. I think she can find the front. And if you do that over 278, you're halfway home, Shorty.
Absolutely. So race 1, number 4, race 2, number 2, race 9, number 3 tonight there at Launceston. Appreciate your time as always, JC, here on Great Greys. Look forward to teaming up again tomorrow on the next edition of the Tab Touch Greyhound Jet Set. You're in good form again there last Saturday. Looking to do it all over again for the Wentworth Park program this week, mate. Until then, many winners. Enjoy your Coke Zero.
Just looking to get higher and higher up that leaderboard, so train yourself and Corey can't catch me.
Good man, good man. Well done, JC. Jace Campbell with us this morning here on Great Greys, having a look at Albion Park and Launceston chasing for this evening. Well, the Hall of Famer about to join us now, Neil Brown. Of course, last week we charted him with coming back to us this week with some of his all-time favourite national sprint and distance championship winners over the years. He now joins us on Great Greys. Welcome to you, Neil. Hope you're having a great week. I know you're looking forward to a big night out there at Sandown this evening, national sprint and distance. Final night there, the state edition at Sandown this evening. Have you had time to think about it? A few of your favourite nationals winners in years gone by for us this week?
Well, they go right back, David. I go back to some of the fantastic greyhounds. First one I saw was in 1968, and a terrific chaser. And, over the years, Fernando Bale, he had the wild card, didn't he? You know, and what a superstar he was over the sprint. Sandy's me mum, got home for the West Aussies, and there's been so many, hasn't it? Saki Dash, I remember, as a distance greyhound, trained by the great and one of the wonderful trainers and footballers of our time in Laurie Nash, and so you know it's been a star-studded lineup over the years, David. And I remember so many of them that it's hard to put them in place, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. A Rapid Journey for me is the one that always springs to mind when I think of those sprint finals. It was just a stunning win from box number 6 here at Cannington. It's still to this day that live probably the most stunning sprint win I've ever seen in my lifetime. It was a high-quality lineup. It found trouble in the run to the first corner, was back second last with less than a lap to go, and it just picked its way through the field and went past some of the best sprinters Australia had through that decade. It was a generational style of race, and spotted them all a head start and beat them fair and square. It was a monster performance.
Yeah, it was a memorable night. I think it was the very first night we went national on Sky Racing, David. I was there in Perth that night. It was a fabulous performance, wasn't it? But when you think it goes back to 65 with Beth's son, and as I say, I saw Princess Carey, and my first one in 68 because it was at Sandown Park. Tim Lee won it at Olympic Park. Kate's a scandal, broke the consecutive wins record with a fabulous win at Olympic Park. Busy Vintage got home at Harold Park, the first Tasmanian to score the sprint. And as I say, not too many, there's only Sandy's my mum's gone back-to-back at Cannington and Sandown, so she was a superstar. The Mighty Flying Amy won it at Sandown Park, so it's just star-studded, as I said, with names and similar with the distance, isn't it, too, David? We just had so many great performances. I remember Dashing Corsair in 2009 getting home for the Queenslanders, and they were pretty happy about that result at Cannington that night. Look, I can go on. Baronia Blossom, of course, is the only distance greyhound to win at 95-96, the Queenslander. And what a good performance that was to Olympic Park and then back on home soil. But Paradise Street, David, for Linda Britton, wasn't he a great Western Australian staying chaser? Arvos Jr., Boomaroo, the list goes on, doesn't it, Dave?
Big time.
Tornado Tears, another superstar from the Robert Britton kennel, won the distance. And, we won't forget last year's performance at Palawa King, just climbed out of the ground at the Meadows and got up and won the distance. So, it's been a marvellous race, and it's steep in tradition with the race going back to 1969 for the distance and 65 for the sprint.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal series. It continues to be so. It's one of my favourite series each and every year. It might not be the richest race, but it's one of the richest when it comes to history and what it means to people representing their state. I think that still means a lot to a lot of people. Any level of sport, the opportunity to put on the state jacket and the state tracksuit's really, really special. And I know that'll be the case for everybody that wins their state sprint finals and distance finals around the nation tonight. It'll be an opportunity to stand proud and something that they can carry with them for the remainder of their training careers. All right, Neil, let's get the blowtorch out, see if we can't find a few winners for the listeners. You've been seeing them very nicely of late. How are we going to play this early quaddie for this evening?
Yeah, we've got a terrific night at Sandown Park, a really good card of racing, and we're celebrating the Victorian Greyhound of the Year awards tonight at Sandown, so they'll all be announced tonight. We've got the King Car medalists and a couple of Hall of Famers, I think, so that'll be a good night between races at Sandown. Let's see how we go with the first. We got it last week. It was reasonably not too difficult, didn't pay overs, did it, David? I think it's pretty tough tonight. I reckon Mark Delbridge might have a mortgage on the first. I don't envy Dan Ibbott trying to call this race one tonight, the major final. He's got his work cut out now. Mark Delbridge with 6 of the finalists. I think it's wide open. I've got Pieball on top, 6, 3, 1 and 7. Race number 2 is a restricted win here over the 5.15. Again, a very, very open affair. I made it 5, 6, 8 and 2. Don't normally like to go this wide, but I think Mapunga Rocky might be the greyhound to beat if it can come out of box 5. We go to the Geelong Sandown final here, grade 5 level, and I thought the Red Tokyo Hoist might be the greyhound to beat. I'm going to take 4 and 6 as well in the quaddie. And in the fourth, the last leg of the early quad, the grade 5 here over the 5.15, I'm again going with the red Ashton Gaga. I thought it was nicely drawn here and could get the money. And I'm going to take 5 and 3 as well in that early quad. So 4, 4, 3 and 3. See if we can follow up with an early quad. Going to the main quad tonight, race number 5 here. I thought it was a tough race. I don't like it that much. At 5.95, and I really picked greyhounds coming out of outside doors. I was a little disappointed with the run of Aston Costello. He was beautifully drawn last week in box number 2, and I thought he was a below par run for him. But I'm going to give him another chance, tip him on top to beat Fernando Gomez. I think it's got a very good chance in the race. It's racing quite well with a couple of wins on the trot here over the 5.95, and I'm going to throw Zipping Hopkins in with some sort of chance as well. First start over this distance, but it looks as though it's a run-on type dog and it's got a chance. So I'm going to take 8, 7, 6, pretty rare for me over the 5.95 to go for wide drawn runners. Race number 6, 7.15 metre race here. Interesting affair. We've got the scratching of Irish Millie makes a difference to the race, and Groovy Birds come out as well. So only a field of 6 here. I thought the 3 would be hard to beat. Mapunga Surprise racing quite well for Jeff Britton, and I think Shaker Bake, the kennelmate, might be the greyhound to beat. But Mapunga Surprise on top. Thought it was a reasonable run last week. And to beat the 4 and the 8, I'm giving a chance to Emily Zoe, drawn out wide on the track, mate. Need a little bit of luck to get into that race, but 3, 4 and 8 in the first leg. Race number... Oh, now I've jumped a leg, haven't I, David, if you don't mind?
No. So second leg was Mapunga Sunrise, Shake and Bake, and Emily Zoe. That's race 6. So we've got 8, 7, 6 leg 1, 3, 4, 8 leg 2, and now onto the third leg, the grade 5 over the 5.15, the Toongabbie Lodge.
Thanks for the correction, David. 5.15 grade 5, 2, 6 and 7. And I think it definitely looks the one to beat. I'm very keen about House of Turbo. It's in very, very good form. Its run last week was an excellent performance behind Crackerjack Bull. It nearly led all the way. I think it's got the early pace to lead and win here. It's a little bit easier assignment tonight. Certainly Hector Frawley hasn't had much luck in his comeback run so far. We know what he's capable of. Got to throw him in the quaddie. Number 7, Fred Rose, always an honest type and getting home late, but it's got to do a bit of work through the field as it's the way it races. So looks the one to beat. House of Turbo. I've got it on top, 2, 6 and 7. Last leg of the quaddie, race number 8, 5.15 metres, 3, 5 and 2 in the free-for-all. I thought, well, into Hub, it's a pretty simple assignment, isn't it? If he leads, he wins. If he doesn't lead, well, he gets himself back in the field and finds it hard to win. But he's got the fall. I think this is a bit of an easier race that he's been in, and I'm going to take him on top to win the last figure, what he to beat 5. Mapunga Shines definitely got a chance. And I thought also number 2, A Kind of Jack. He's nicely drawn. He's an honest type. He's a little bit up and down, but he's got a chance in this race as well. I'm going to take 3, 5 and 2. Thinking in the Hub can come out and lead and win. And his record at Sandown would suggest he's always hard to beat, isn't he?
Oh, big time.
Well, quick look at the Nationals, David.
Yeah, go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, race 9. I made it 4, 3, 6 and 5. Don't think there's much between Ellie's Babe and Aunt Virginia. I think she might be able to lead the race and be hard to beat. Aunt Virginia got her on top. And in the sprint, it's a real crackerjack field. This will be a harder race to win than maybe the final, David, tonight. I'm going to stick with him. He won't know what he's doing, not coming out of the red box flying Zool. He's had it 3 weeks in a row, but coming out of the 5, it's a tough race. Got him on top to beat Crackerjack Bull, beautifully drawn in box number 1, racing well, and the 8, Vincent Bale. They're all in very, very good form, all racing in extremely good form, these dogs. It's a great race. 5, 1 and 8 in the sprint final, race number 10. So a really good night of racing at Sandown Park. I'm looking forward to it, Dave.
Can't wait for it, Neil. Sounds like you've got a busy night ahead as well with those presentations and awards throughout the course of the evening as well. We wish you all the very best. Thanks so much for joining us this morning here on Great Greys and sharing some of your favourite Nationals winners from over the years. All the very best to everyone at Sandown tonight, Brownie.
This is your home of the Greyhound Good Oil, Great Greys.
Well, it's now 22 minutes away from 11 o'clock. Chasing at Angle Park tonight. Looking forward to their distance and sprint finals as well tonight. Some very talented types on show. And, of course, we'll get to see more of them when they host the national finals in a couple of weeks' time. Let's catch up with Sean Matheson and find out the latest over there in SA. Hello, Sean.
Hey, David, how are you today?
Going beautifully, thank you. Lovely to have your company, and no doubt you're very much looking forward to the sprint and distance final tonight there at Angle Park. We get to see some really good dogs on show, and of course these dogs will then back up and have home track advantage, the winner of these races going into the national finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Since 2016, the Nationals roll around to South Australia, and we've got our state finals tonight. Always a terrific night of racing across the nation, as we touched on last week. Every state pretty much is running their finals today and or tonight. And then the straight track are doing the same thing. I think New South Wales straight track and then some straight track finals on the weekend, which is part of the Nationals. But the focus, as you mentioned, tonight, we've got two wonderful races. Heats of our SA Sprint were conducted last week, and we saw three outstanding winners, and makes a wonderful final, which is race 7 tonight. And also race 4, a few surprising nominations turned up in the race, and so it's going to make for a really interesting affair, which is race 4, the distance championship tonight for SA.
Most definitely. Zinfandel Trace, the $1.90 favourite there in front of Zipping Neutron. The former West Aussie Crypto Manelli's been racing well. It's a $4 chance. Muster at 7. It's 31 and upwards from there. Let's hone in on your key plays, though, tonight there at Angle Park.
Okay, so the 3 best bets, I will focus on the 2 finals as part of my best bets, but the first best bet for the listeners will be in race 1, and it's number 7, Rev Leon for Kim Johnson, quoted around that $2.15 mark. Rev Leon ran 3rd last week, a really good run. Surprisingly missed the start, but was seen chasing home really nicely along the rails, beaten 6 lengths by Pet Detective, who went really quite fast. Rev Leon 31.08. It can definitely go quicker than that. And the 2 starts prior to that at Gawler absolutely pinged the lids and ran really sharp time in the 22.6s, 22.7s at Gawler, which is really quite quick. So definitely got the speed, and showed last week can run home. So expect the dog to begin really well from the wide draw. Expect the dog to lead, and I think Rev Leon can get the job done for us nice and early tonight.
Race 1, number 7, Rev Leon, the first of Sean's picks tonight. On to the second of them.
The second of them, and we'll go into the distance final. And in looking through this field, David, I mean, the 4 months ago we might have had quite a different race, but tonight it creates an awful lot of interest. And you mentioned about Zinfandel Trace for Gavin Harris, and I've got her on top. There's been strong support for her, as you mentioned, to around $1.90. That even money quote, plenty of money for her. She steps up to the 700 for the first time at her 9th race start. Gavin Harris is a master with these staying greyhounds. He's had a string of them over the journey, and I don't think he'd be stepping her up in such a major race unless he felt that she could get the job done. And I just think with her strength over the 500, which she's shown plenty of in winning 2 feature finals recently, but I think she'll be able to show enough speed here to probably lead. And if she led, I think she's just going to be out in front, and it's a matter of whether she gets the journey. And I'm backing that she will. And at that $2 quote, I reckon I definitely have her on top as the dog to beat, whilst there is a question marker around her. And I think it's probably a little bit to do more about the field, David. You could say Zipping Neutron, wonderful greyhound, probably not at his absolute top of what we've seen over the last 12 to 18 months. And a lot of the other dogs sort of need things to go their way. So I'll have Zinfandel Trace as my best bet. Just a roughie for the listeners. I don't mind Just Outfit around the $34 to maybe fill a hole. Had no luck in that staying race last week. I reckon the dog can stay, and I reckon can show it tonight. So that could be one just for the multiples.
All right, so we might take 2 up front and then use number 4, Just Alfie, into 2nd, 3rd or 4th with the field to maybe get a bit of value out of race number 4 tonight there at Angle Park. And it sounds like we'll go to the sprint final for your other play, which is race number 7.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really hard not to be taken with the performance of Fantastic Spike last week. Number 4 tonight. He was brilliant, coming a fair way off speed, working his way through the field, got to the outside, and in the home straight, he just put them away. I reckon at his absolute best, he's got a length or two on this field, even though it's a red-hot field. He's going to need to begin a little bit better than what he did last week. But I'm still pretty comfortable, even if he's, worse than midfield at the winning post the first occasion, just as long as he gets some clear running. And I think he'll get that because the dog's drawn outside him. Where's Poppy wants to go forward and go to the lead, and the other dog's out wide. They sort of want to stay a bit wide. So I just think he'll get some clear running early. The second half of the race he's at his absolute best. Quoted around $2.80, getting quite short, I think. But I just think he's the best dog in the race, in the best form, and I'm looking for him to get the win.
He's an exciting dog to watch too. Fantastic Spike. Don't panic if he's a few lengths off them turning for home, because he'll be the one that's absolutely rattling over the last little bit. Great record track and trip. 8 starts, 4 wins, 3 seconds and a third. He's a class animal. With an ounce of luck, he'll be hard to beat in the SA National State Sprint National Championship final there tonight, race 7, number 4. Fantastic Spike. So we've got 1, 7, 4, 2, 7, 4. And in race number 4, watch out for number 4, Just Alfie, to sneak into a placing at a big price. Chasing at Gawler on Friday and Murray Bridge on Sunday. Anything of note there, Sean?
Yeah, so Gawler tomorrow. We'll go race 8, number 1, All About Larry. We tipped him last week in a similar type of race. He just got nosed out in running second. I think he can redeem your followers, David, and my followers, I suppose, and get the win. He's drawn 1 at Gawler, race 8, number 1 tomorrow. He's drawn exactly where he wants to be. Will be really hard to beat. And then on Sunday at Murray Bridge, I like race 5, number 5, Woodside Johnny, for Graham Smith, a favourite of mine on the show, and didn't have any luck in the heats of the Sprint Championship last week. Prior to that, went 30-41 at Angle Park. He actually ran home pretty well in the heats last week, so I wasn't too disappointed with his performance in what's a really nice field at Murray Bridge. I think he can just stay a bit wide over the 5:30 and just use that brilliant mid-race acceleration he's got and hopefully get the win.
Very nice indeed. So 8-1 Gawler Friday, All About Larry, and then Murray Bridge Sunday, race 5, number 5, Woodside Johnny. Beautifully done, Sean. A huge night of chasing right around Australia this evening, and of course I'm sure everyone across there at Angle Park will be keeping a very close eyeball on all proceedings, and you have a good idea of what these national finals are going to look like. And given the quality of the dogs we've been talking about as we've gone around the grounds today, I'm sure we're going to end up with spectacular fields for the National Sprint and Distance Championships, and I'm sure that your hometown there, Sean, yourself and the rest of the team will put on quite a show. Look forward to chatting to you in the build-up.
Excellent, David. Yeah, really looking forward to what lies ahead for us and look forward to talking to you next week.
Good man. Sean Matheson with us here on A Great Greys, where it's now 14 minutes away from 11 o'clock. Our next race for broadcast, 10:55 here on TAB Radio. It'll be the first of the day at Moree. Meddlesome is our $3.50 favourite on the fixed in front of Santos El Helper at $3.70. Holy Mackerel is at $4.80. Lady of the Hunter at $6. Glorian at $8.50. It's $12 and upwards the remainder. Absolute pleasure, though, today to be catching up with Mick Cowley to have a look at all things New South Wales greyhound racing on what is a very exciting night of chasing ahead with the state sprint and distance finals there at Wentworth Park. Mick, welcome to Great Greys on this Thursday. How do we find you today?
Mate, not too bad, Dave. Good morning to you and your listeners. Good afternoon over here. It's a lovely day in Sydney. Looking forward to a great night's racing tonight.
Indeed, and the sprint and distance final there at Wentworth Park tonight. Both have drawn together very, very nice fields, it must be said. Before we get into your tips around the grounds and all over the place, just your thoughts on the distance final and quickly a tab touch market there. Ritzer Piper at $2.25, Phase Magic at $2.70, Pearly Tears at $4. Check the Radar 7 and What Can Do at $17.
Well, it's a small field. Only drew the 5 noms for the final straight-out final, but it's a quality field. Yeah, Ritzer Piper's a Group 1 winner. Phase Magic could have quite easily won more group races up there in Queensland during their carnival. Obviously, the one that's missing is the injured Palawa King, but these things happen in greyhound racing. Any of the 5 could actually win. I actually spoke to Craig Benjamin, who has the outsider in the field, who can do. And he thinks he's got a good chance. Camped on the leaders, certainly finished off okay last week and has run low 42s around Wentworth Park. So it could definitely be a chance. Personally, I think Ritzer Piper, if Ritzer Piper's on and we see the best Ritzer Piper, it's going to be very hard to catch, that's for sure. But as I said, the 1 and the 8 as well, they've both got good chances. So it's a wide open distance final.
And in the sprint, again, quite open. Furness is our $3.50 favourite on the fixed odds with Tab Touch in from $3.80. Great Flash, $4. Omega Travis, $4.60. Might have been at $5.50. Both Bowers Ace, very consistent. It's $5.50 out to $6.50. You Never Lose, 6 to 7. Candice Keeping, 26 and firm. And Poco Rico draws the pink. It's a $31 chance.
Mate, as you mentioned, Furness, it's the odd one out. It's the only one that's trained by a man in the race. All the other 7 are all trained by women trainers, which says a lot for our industry. It's very equal opportunity industry, as we do know. Minnie Finn's got 4 of those 7, and I actually like Michelle Sultana's dog here. You Never Lose was pretty handy run last week in the heat. It was first 500 run for about 5 months. It had a bit of a layoff. Came back, had a couple of short courses up in Queensland, then came back. They obviously gave it a hit out at Wentworth Park, a post to post, which it went pretty well in. Jumped and just got run down late on a track that was reasonably heavy last Saturday night as well. And speaking to Connections, I think that did play into the dog getting a bit leg weary at the end. Will be fitter for tonight's final. And just looking at it, I think speed early. I think it's got the outside dogs covered. It's just the 1 and the 2 that's got to get around earlier. And it's got pretty good first sectional times. Even last week when the track was heavy, it went 5:41 for that first split. Has gone 5:38. No, I think if it goes anywhere near that, it should be able to get to the fence first and lead around the first turn and prove hard to catch with that extra bit of fitness tonight. So it's the one I like it around, as you said, the $6 or $7 mark.
Excellent race. 6, number 3, You Never Lose, $7, $2.15. The place looks a nice each way play. All right, Mick, while we're on Wentworth Park Thursday night, anything else for the punters to have a punt on there?
But the best on the card comes up after those feature races. It's in race 8. It's a dog called All Up Jimmy. It's dog number 8. And you look at its form and it doesn't look fantastic, but it is a genuine prospect over the 500 at the moment. Should get a nice card across from the 7, and mid-race will be when he'll be making his move, and Jimmy could be too strong for them tonight. Nice price too, race 8, number 8, All Up Jimmy. Anything else for Wenny Park Thursday? Mate, I think that's it. If you focus on those 3, you should get some good value, and hopefully we can get 1, 2, or maybe even 3 of them home. That'll be a good result. Excellent. I'll handball across to you now. You hand pick what you like for the remainder of the next 72 hours across there in New South Wales. Mate, I think the best focus is probably today, because it is a good day. We've also, apart from those sprint races and the distance races tonight, we've also got the straight track New South Wales heat/final. It's just a one-off that's being run this afternoon up the Richmond Straight, and it's not a bad race. They had a prelude to it last week. Dave Smith, who most people would know from Super Estrella days, Dave's having a good run at the Richmond Straight and also around the Bulli, the one-turn tracks at the moment. I think 48-hour period, not long ago, he trained 9 winners in that 48-hour period over those 2 tracks. Dave's got 3 runners in the Straight Track Championship this afternoon, our time. It's 2:42 our time, so obviously a little bit earlier your time. He does have the favourite Express Ethics, and it just looks a put-in take-out here. I think it's around the $1.60 mark, but perhaps you could couple it up with a dog called Talk About It. It's in race 10 at Richmond this afternoon. It had its first start up the straight last week for Christy Sultana. It's a very handy sprinter, and it was impressive last week, and it should be doing the same again this week. Starts from box 5 and should be winning. So I'd multi those 2 up, and then the other one that I do like is in race 1 at Casino today. It's dog number 4. The race actually looks, it's a race in 2. I think it's the 4 Caramar Drive and the 8, Who's a Pitcher. I just think Caramar Drive should be able to cross to get the lead early and around that circle at Casino. That's the best place to be in front. Has got a vacant box underneath it, or she'll make the task a little bit easier, and it looks one of the best bets on the program. So it's race 1, number 4 at Casino. And there probably, I think if we stick to today, we can get some cash, and there's a good Wentworth Park card on Saturday night as well to follow up with.
Absolutely, and we look forward to having a wager there. But in recap for Mick Cowley in the sprint final tonight, he's keen on You Never Lose at a nice price. The distance, Ritzer Piper. His best bet there this evening, Wenny Park, race 8, number 8, All Up Jimmy. Richmond up the straight, very nice multi to get involved with. Race 8, number 1, Express Ethics. Race 10, number 5, Talk About It. And Casino today, race 1, number 4, Caramar Drive. Beautifully done, Mick. Appreciate your time this morning here on Great Greys. Thanks for taking the time to pick up the phone and share your wisdom. Wishing you all the very best, and indeed to the New South Wales representatives that get through tonight.
Likewise, Dave. Appreciate it any time, mate. Good
man. Mick Cowley with us this morning here on Great Greys, sharing his thoughts for a big 48 hours ahead in New South Wales chasing. Moree is less than a minute away now. I'll take you through this market. Save Maddie's voice box because he's got plenty of hours still to go here in the studio as we work through the day. And as it sits right now with Tab Touch, Santos Alhalpa is our $2.80 favourite. From a fixed odds perspective, it opened as big as $11. So well done to you if you jumped aboard at those prices. Meddlesome, $5.50 into $3.60. Holy Mackerel, $6.50 to $5.50. Lady of the Hunter's been $7 into $6. Glorian, $13 into $10. Fatal Shot, $31 into $21. Pure Platinum, $26 and firm. Golden River Gift is 26, as big as 91 now, 41, and the outsider of the field, Time to Roll, 71 into $61, moving in nicely here for the first of the day at Moree. When we return, we'll wrap things up for today's edition of Great Greys.
Thanks, Shorty. Note at Newcastle, the track is now soft 5 there. And at Mount Isa, late scratching, race 6, number 6, Montreux comes out number 6 out of race 6. Just ahead of Moree, Newcastle Explosive Torpedo 290-120, Toiga 170, Capital Dancer 180, 790, Quinella 1450 the exacta, and the trifecta return is 45.50, 4-2, 6-7 first 4, $100 plus 70 cents for the sub, and the scratching 8. 4 minutes away, Ballarats. For the meantime, here's Moree.
Other late scratchings, there was one in the last. It was one of the best bets of the day as well. Unfortunately, off the press is a late scratching. Race 7, number 5, and race 2, number 6 as well. My Paloma on transport difficulties. So a couple of late scratchings here at Moree today, but just take note the 1 and the 10 are out in the first. Right, so there's about half a dozen to come forward. So Glorian will be the next runner to get set to come forward. Meddlesome also getting organised. One getting set over their ride list. Looks like Pure Platinum. Time to Roll, so yet to come forward. And Lady of Hunter will be one of the last. So there's 5 to come forward. New favourite, number 3, Santos Alhalpa at $2.70. Meddlesome's at $3.30. Holy Mackerel at $6. So there's 4 to come up. Holy Mackerel. Pure Platinum goes up rideless. Time to Roll yet to come up, and Meddlesome. So Pure Platinum backs away. It was 3/4 of the way in. So they try again. Okay, we welcome in Gary Cleese and John Powell on Sky Thoroughbred Central for this 7-event program today from Moree. And they're having trouble with Pure Platinum here. They've tried several times rideless and they try again.
We might just take it back there.
Okay, so while we've lost that, we wait. 2 minutes away, Ballarat. The favourite for the first event is number 2, Controlled Zone at $2.70, $2.30 in fixed betting, and from $4 with Tab Touch. Note Declan Bates is on horse number 3, and that is just 2 minutes out at 11 o'clock. Back to Moree.
Roll Mills around at the start with Lady of the Hunter. It's happening now.
They've got this in twice and it's backed out twice.
They've tried 5 times with this horse, Pure Platinum, so...
5 times and you're out. Shorty, we'll take it back to you till they're set.
Indeed, Matty. Not much to report, just that we thank all of our guests for coming on the program for today. Looks a really punter-friendly program today. These prices are pretty trim on the way through, but there's 5 dogs that I thought would all be really hard to beat. Race 6, number 7, Shimmer Dream. Race 7, number 2, Obsess Much. Race 8, number 1, Arbolino. Race 9, number 4, Iconic Jet. And race 10, number 1, Twisted Mansion. I think the punters can get the better of proceedings today there at Northam. And just a reminder as well, 5 extra super picks for eligible Tab Touch account customers to use on any greyhound meets throughout the course of today. Thank you, Matty. We'll be back on air tomorrow morning, nice and early with Digby and Tim just after 6:30, and chasing winners between 9 and 10 before the Greyhound Jet Set podcast tomorrow afternoon.
All right, thanks, Shorty. We'll see you at Changeover tomorrow.
Cheers, Matty.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.